Today in our Spotlight series, we're answering your question of the month, and I've asked iCapital Chief Data Officer Robert Huntsman to help us with his expertise. Robert, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you, and here's the question of the month that I want to share with you and get your take on. How can artificial intelligence help investment management companies scale their businesses, but also protect data privacy and mitigate those data privacy concerns? So, Robert, let's dive in. And I say this is a pretty complicated question, so let's break this up into two parts. So let's take the first part of that is, how can AI help drive and scale the investment management business?
So when I think about scale, I think about being able to do a process more efficiently to increase operating margin. In the alternative investment management industry, one of the biggest problems we have is dealing with unstructured data. It's very time consuming and labor intensive. Artificial intelligence can be used as a tool to extract structured data from unstructured data, which can significantly reduce the amount of time that it takes to process documents, to do things like subscribe to a fund, to complete an offering memorandum, or other parts of the investment process. AI can streamline those processes. AI is very efficient at analyzing large bodies of information and being able to extract insights, to be able to look at patterns in historical data and to predict forward. I think we're still at the point in time where human judgment is very much a part of the equation, but humans can use AI as a very powerful tool to reach insights that they wouldn't normally be able to reach because they simply don't have the capacity to analyze that much data.
Right. And how far along are we, do you think, in both operationally adopting artificial intelligence and also maybe using some of these predictive modeling in making financial decisions?
In terms of using AI for operational efficiency, we're very early on. A lot of work continues to be done manually. We're very early on in using large language models to be able to extract information to transform unstructured data to structured data, which is really what is going to take us to moving alts much closer to public markets. I think that hedge funds and some alternative investment managers have been using AI for a number of years. So AI, a subset of that is machine learning. Machine learning has been used by large firms like Renaissance Technologies for years to be able to find relationships in large sets of data. I think for predictive purposes, for investment management, decision-making, AI has been a very big part of the equation for a part of the industry for many years.
Robert, it's interesting from a macroeconomics perspective. One thing we've noticed recently is the productivity in the U.S. has actually picked up since the pandemic. And I think what it has to do with is some of the technology tools that we now have at our disposal that we didn't have before. But I don't think that includes some of the AI technology tools just yet. So I'm personally very much looking forward to seeing the productivity boost and the operational efficiency that we may have. But let's talk about the other side of that, and that is the data privacy concern. And I don't know if most people realize that, but whatever you type into the public ChatGPT is not actually private, is it?
That's right. The large language models are the models that are used for ChatGPT. Large language models are also the tool that we use to transform unstructured data into structured data. We'll take a model which has been pre-trained on billions of pieces of information, put it into our own environment so that there's no access from the outside, train it on data that we have the rights to use to be able to learn the patterns in that set of data, all within our own environment and all without using any PII, so that A, no external parties have access to that data, and B, no PII is exposed.
Right. So as a consumer, I want to be careful. Where exactly do I put in my personal investment data? Robert, as you think about priorities in terms of data and artificial intelligence at iCapital, what are those?
We sit in a unique position at the intersection of wealth management and the alternative investment managers. We have an opportunity to streamline the industry, to take it much closer to public markets in terms of speed and scale. Our top priorities this year are, one, we are going to use artificial intelligence to streamline the subscription process, which today is a very manual process. And number two, it's about creating reference data, which can accelerate the process of launching new funds, of providing key reference data to use in the subscription process, and for reporting and analytics.
Right. But I think one of the distinction with public markets is that what the pricing is at any given point in time. And I'm not suggesting we're going to get there with private markets, maybe, nor should we, but can we shorten the time period between, investing and actually getting the information on your returns?
There's a lot of reconciliation that has to happen. Our industry is very disaggregated with respect to information. So at iCapital, one of the things we've done is use distributed ledger technology to combine data from multiple different data sources into a single consolidated position source that spans all of the different types of investments in the industry. Number two, you can use artificial intelligence on that single data source to be able to very quickly identify where there are differences in the data from different data providers and to reconcile that data quickly. So while the pricing might not be available in a matter of milliseconds, we're moving much, much closer to being able to provide performance data quickly.
When you have one set of public data that looks at, time-weighted returns, and then on the other side, you're looking at
Yes,
IRRs or multiple invested capital, for alternatives, that's not exactly apples to apples. So if we can use AI to turn that, apples and oranges data into the same structured data, that would be incredibly helpful.
absolutely. We have a team that has developed a product called Architect, and Architect is a portfolio construction tool for the alternatives investment industry. One of the big breakthroughs we had this year is that we were able to model the alternative investment return and risk structure so that we were able to blend alternative investment profiles with public market investment profiles so that an investment advisor or client can go in and they can construct a portfolio consisting of both alts, structured investments, as well as public market investments, and have a unified view of risk and return in the same portfolio, which is something that really, as an industry, we haven't been able to do yet.
We have not. We know where the pain points are, and we know the massive amount of data that we have as an industry and the inefficiencies that we have. But the good news is we also know the tools that are likely needed to help us get over those. And it's AI, it's machine learning, it's robotic process automation, and it's a matter of time, it's a matter of commitment. And thank you so much for helping us do that at iCapital.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks, Robert. And we'd like to hear from you. Send us an email at yourquestion@icapitalnetwork.com and let us know what questions are the top of mind for you and your clients. I'm Anastasia Amoroso, and thank you for joining us today on Beyond 60/40. We'll see you next time.